today I have got the full team of Second House here. That's the professional remote viewing squad that I am a part of. We typically do a lot of associative remote viewing, as I've shared on the channel before. But lately we've been getting into something new. We're gonna start doing some monthly predictions, and in this episode I'm gonna introduce everybody, and we're gonna dive into everyone's monthly sessions for November 2025, and see what kind of wild stuff we have coming up. So I'm Josh with Rockstar Intuition. So I'm gonna go around the table here and let the rest of my Rockstar remote viewing team introduce themselves. David, you want to kick us off?
Hi everyone, I'm David Harker. I'm a remote viewer and I have been for about 7 years. And I'm the host of the Psychic Guys podcast. So if you're not listening to that, why not? Go listen to it.
All right, thanks, David. Next up, we got Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark Weary. I've been remote viewing for about 7 years as well. Wearing the cowboy hat in honor of the cowboy RV method.
Rich, we got you up next.
Yeah, my name's Rich. I've been remote viewing for about 5 years now. Started with TDRV, and now you'll be seeing Flow. I trained under Dad Smith to learn that methodology, and it's been fun. So looking forward to seeing what we all got today.
All right, and last but certainly not least, we have Elisa.
Yes, Dr. Lisa Lagana. I've been doing intuitive work for over 20 years, remote viewing probably more than 15 years, and trained with John Vivanco, and enjoy doing sports and healing work, and I've enjoyed working with this team. So look forward to continuing to work with my corporate and private clients and seeing what we can do to offer to these clients today.
Right on. All right, so that's the team, and I guess without further ado, we'll dive into the sessions that everybody's prepared for this month. So I guess we can go in the same order here as we did the intros. I'll go last because I'm just playing host here today, so I don't have much of a session to share. David, you want to kick it off?
Okay, so I did a single news prediction for November. And I'm shitting myself now because this ended up being so super specific that it's going to be too good to be true if it comes true. But you get what you get, right? So let's review what I got. Started out banking or banks. You know the TV news shot where the guy's filmed walking into the big shiny skyscraper. That kind of idea here. Got this dude. This building is a big shiny bank or government power center kind of thing. It's got this overhanging aspect to it. So I dug in a little bit. What's it like? It's like around the other side or around the back. It's the idea of it being global. I think it's between a Western power center, AOL of Washington, but I don't know. It felt America's, if not USA. Towards this was like less clear. It felt sort of less populous, but multiple areas. I had a couple of AOLs that it's like financial or trade deal or something like that. So I looked, what does it feel like? It feels transactional. You give me this, I'll give you that, rather than it just being, let's all just trade, yay. It was much more like there's an exchange going on here at the agreement level. So it runs for a set time. It seems like this second party B, they're going to be able to, there'll be like reduced tariffs or reduced tax or reduced inspections or harmonization of regulations or that kind of thing, where it just makes it easier to import, export. But there's also going to be easier access to business. So it might even be like some kind of, where they can use business services, or there's some kind of like currency agreement thing. I don't know exactly. But the interesting bit of this is that the second party, the non-Western party B, agrees to provide up to X units of Y thing per T time, right? They're gonna not necessarily provide it, but there'll be like a fixed price. So A is allowed to buy up to 10 chicken nuggets at a guaranteed price of $1 per chicken nugget, or whatever it is. So on the next page, looking at the second party, because it felt a bit vague, felt like multiple areas, and I'm like, yeah, where's this? It's quite wide, arbitrary. So we've got 3 players here. 2 of them, there's an unequal relationship. There's cooperation despite differences, but it's it's political. But there's this other party down here that's just like control. There's a real power imbalance here. This guy's in charge of this guy. So I thought it is a political or business bloc. It's some kind of like coalition kind of thing, but they already have formalized relationships. So I'm trying to work out like what is this thing that they're shipping. And at first I was thinking the ideogram for this is the first blush. I thought it was a structure, and I didn't probe it properly because we put this thing together at quite short notice, and I was rushing through my session. But when you look a bit closer at it, there's actually no angles in there. So I was thinking, is this like tanks or vehicles or something? But it looked very boxy, very like square. So on the next page, I'm like, wait. Let me look at this ideogram again, and I repeated it twice. Look at this, and it still has this form. There's no angle in there. It's not a structure, right? So I get a visual on it. It's just a box, almost like a pallet box kind of thing. And I go, all right, what's inside here? So the ideograms for that are kind of scribbly. I think it's bulk substance. It's multi. It's crunchy, dense, brittle, pure, glassy. Had AOLs of silicon or uranium, but it's some kind of substance, right? It's a raw material or something. So I busted out one of my favorite very niche remote viewing tools, which is the blank periodic table, which this is only good if you're not a chemist, right? Because if you're a chemist and you know what goes in all these squares, then you're not, it's not so easy to be unbiased. But I don't know what, almost, I think hydrogen goes up there, and then the rest of it's like, yeah, these are the weird ones, but I don't know what's in here. So I just douse of this, see where my pen wants to go, and it's like, okay, there's something there. So I ask, is there anything else? No, that's it. So then you go online, type in periodic table of elements, and you go look up the thing, see what's in that square, and it's gold. Gold is what is in that square. And I'm like, that's pretty good. That's got to be right. So let's go on to the next page here. So, I mean, gold is taken governments, central banks, high net worth individuals, investors, everybody is buying gold now because like bonds are shit, the currency's worthless, everybody's getting a bit spooked about the wheels coming off the whole thing. Gold is having a moment right now, and I think Western governments were kind of like, we don't need gold reserves, we can just sell this, it's fine, and that was dumb. So I think now there is an argument for like getting some gold again, because otherwise it's just going to be like the BRICS nations with huge piles of gold, like laughing at the West, going, we're the only ones with a currency that's backed with anything that exists. And now everybody's kind of, the emperor has no clothes, right? So on our first page here, we got a generic guy in suit walking into shiny skyscraper with overhang. And it's like, well, where the hell is this going to be? So I've got another little visual of that down there. And hang on, let me just change my screen share over here. So I spent some quality time with ChatGPT going, give me all the, compare the architecture of the different central banks and government buildings and I gave it my sketches as well. And I settled on this because we've got this overhang area, big shiny, lots of glass. And you remember I got those 2 spiky things next to a flagpole, right? And then we turn around and, oh, what do we got here? We got 1, 2 spiky things, and oh, who's this? Flagpole. And I'm like, there's 2 spiky things and a flagpole next to a skyscraper with an overhang. This is the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Whether this has anything to do with it or not, or whether this is just a false match, I might be overfitting here, but that was what I got when I faffed about with ChatGPT and Street View. So let's get back to the session here. Yep, 2 spiky things. There's actually 2 flagpoles in there, but I only drew 1, so who knows. Right, so we're looking at the nature of the what's the barrier cost friction, which will be reduced by the sort of first party of the West. So opening up, making space, access, business services, ability to do business. It's all, the free trade, free market, easing the flow of goods and services, right? And then this is just a bunch of scribbles here. I'm targeting the locations of those. Where did I put it? Here on page 3. Remember, we've got these 3 parties. They're 3 probably nations or business or something. This block with the relationships between them. I'm trying to work out like where are these in the world, and So I busted out another remote viewing tool, which is a blank map. I haven't got the other half of this, but this is like a grid of cells, and each one has a country in it, and they're kind of laid out like a map, but then it's not perfect. But it allows you to dowse blind, and then you go look at the key and see where did you make the marks on the paper. And interestingly, this Western power is actually Canada, not the USA. So the sketch matched the Fed in Boston, but the map down said Canada, and it felt Western, but it's like West America's somewhere. And then this really lines up with the idea of gold. India is the main party, and then China and Cambodia was the party that India sort of the relationship diagram was like, yeah, they kind of control them. There's a real power imbalance there. I don't know whether Cambodia is a big producer of gold or not, but India and China, like China has a lot of gold and India has a lot of gold. They're big fans, very wisely. So this would really make sense if there was an agreement where these guys wanted to be exporting and these guys wanted gold. It makes complete sense. So yeah, then there's the summary. News event, November 2025. Trade deal between Canada or USA with India and then China and Cambodia indirectly. Easy access to businesses and services, reduced trade friction in return for a guaranteed supply of gold, probably at a fixed price, which I should have written on the summary and didn't. And the agreement seems to have a fixed term, like this five-year thing we're going to do until we get all the gold we want. So yeah, that is my prediction for November. And you can see why I'm breaking it now, because that is really ridiculously specific, but it is what it is.
Yeah, great session. Lots of good details there. It's funny, our prime minister here in Canada right now is a former top banker of both Canada and Europe. So maybe maybe that is part of it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. That's solid stuff. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Mark? Okay.
Yeah, so knowing that this was a short notice and I wasn't sure if my schedule was going to allow me to do something other than what I normally been doing. And so I just basically stuck to my wheelhouse. So we are in week 10 of the NFL season, and we're recording today, Tuesday the 4th. So next available opportunity to look at something was going to be Thursday the 6th. And so that would be the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Denver Broncos. Let's show you my session here. So we have target 9738-9835. Natural life, what I was able to determine out of my ideogram here. We come down and we have crunchy, crackly for audible type sounds, delicate, thin. It was warm and ambient. I got the colors gold, yellow, blue, green, tan, white, bright, clear, grassy, bland, and salty for impressions. With this lovely drawing here, which emphasizes the three spots here. We have eyeballs and ears, which happen to correspond quite nicely with my target images. And this here, which I believe is a close-up of, it's called surface area, but it is an end result. What I've been able to come up with is that the over condition is going to be what we're looking at for 42.5 points, which I put a small wager on today.
I think we should reiterate here, and I should have said this before as well. This is not financial advice, and we are not guaranteeing future outcomes.
This is true.
100%.
For entertainment purposes only, we are predicting the future.
Cool. Rich, you have 10 minutes before you have to hop off here, so we better get you in next.
Yeah, no, sounds good. Let me share here. All right, so I took a break from all the doom and gloom. I feel for anybody that tries to remote view the future with a news story, because at least for me, there's so much noise with that, right? So switch gears here, viewer. We'll describe a global feel-good story, which will be announced November 2025. So this is target 0001-1403. And right off the bat, ideogram pointed towards energy. Got feelings of white, smoky, cold, wispy, is very vaporous. had an AOL there of natural gas. It didn't feel like a energetic in the sense of um, like an explosion or something like that, but more in its potential. So probed it again and got land. Flat, cold, felt like there was vegetation, but very short. Um, Shrubbery, white, hard, earthen, very natural. Got an AOL of tundra. It did feel very north. I didn't probe the potential geographical area like David did, but the general sense was north of me. I'm in the US. So that leaves Canada. And I guess part of the US, it could be Alaska, but felt north, right? Didn't feel Asian in the sense of Russia or anything like that. It definitely felt Western and north. Probed it again. Got elements, natural structure, like a IAOL'd mountain, but it felt rocky, rough, brown, gray. It felt short. It wasn't like a Mount Everest type of massive feeling, but definitely not like Illinois where I'm from, where it's just flat and cornfields. There's some elevation in this area. So probe some more, right? Windy kind of animal sounds. Again, really got a lot of elements of the icy cold. It felt very bright. So here V is for vision. Okay, so sorry, going down. A for audio. T is texture, the feel of the site. T2 is temp. For the visual, got colors black, but it was a small element of black, more just very white, gray, bland kind of scenery, but felt outdoors. Very high luminosity, but low contrast. The taste of this target tasted bitter. I didn't get any smell, but energetically felt powerful. It felt long, straight areas of rough, kind of barren terrain. It felt like in the middle of nowhere. So definitely not urban by any sense of the imagination. And it did feel expanding and expansive, but again, not like an explosive energy, just more in the sense of like gaseous, vaporous, but feels released. Moved on to stage 3 here. I did a quick, hey, viewer will move to the optimum location of the target, sketch and describe. Definitely got elements of wet and water. And also, I think the peaks and mountains of my S2 data. But there also felt to be an object more out in the water relative to the land. It felt metallic, hard, boxy. At the moment, it felt stationary, but it did have the feeling of being man-made and also potentially deployable, or not like a permanent fixture, like a building or something like that, right? I don't know. I kind of wavered on it. It didn't feel quite like a vessel, like a boat. Um, but yeah, it's semi-stationary. Did stage 4 again. S2 data of gaseous. It felt large, right? But had the idea of buried, deep, discovery, piped. In terms of, I guess this would have been more EI than AI now that I think about it, but both felt happy and sad, right? My target was, hey, a feel good story. And so the general feeling, the vibe of this felt like, all right, it feels natural, but kind of intangible. Feelings of cold and rough terrain, elements of discovery, potentially like an energy or gaseous material. It did feel like, wow, we found like a huge reserve that we weren't expecting to find. I did get the sense of it was a depleted resource, or either that, or people would be joyous because, oh, hey, now we found another energy source, natural gas or something like that, or now maybe pricing will be cheaper, right? But it did have this kind of quasi good feel in the sense of, okay, well, good for people, but maybe not great for the environment. So the semi good feeling story, but great from a human perspective. Uh, but I don't know. I wavered on the feel of it. It felt either like a natural gas or something rare in the sense of helium or something like that that we thought was pretty close to being depleted.
That's interesting. Good one. All right. So I guess Elisa is up next.
Hi, guys. Okay, let's see if I can do this screen share. I did a fast session, no structure.
Yep.
So I just focused in on November news and what I thought would be important for people to know overall. And that first ideogram that I got just kind of just felt this really powerful sense of energy flowing through, this fast overall movement of energy and this sense of really strong dynamic shifts. And I kind of wanted to expand on that and um, what that meant overall. And it just felt like there seemed to be across all markets this predominantly like intense sense of energy. And there was this heavy feeling of this dropping intense heavy feeling upon like people in general. And so when I kind of expanded into that, it was like, you know, I guess I could just say it right now. It was like November. I'm usually a very positive person, but November kind of feels like a, a really like a hell month, for a lot of people. Like a month that we have to hold on to and kind of say, have faith and move through it because it's going to be really difficult with the intense energy that's going to be dropping down on people. Um, and there's this so much chaotic dynamic shifts that's really important. And so whenever I was looking at the markets, that just like in that first moment, it just came to me as all markets, dynamic shifts straight across. And so for this month, I actually felt like, buy and hold was what I wrote down. And I felt very confident to say in the beginning, like if you were going to try to do anything financially, it would be in the first 2 weeks to make any kind of transitions in your portfolio, um, and and that you will see like the most opportunities to purchase in those financial markets in that first 2 weeks, and that's it because the market would become way too chaotic towards the end of the month, just way too much. If you move to the third page, um, once again, I encouraged holding on to assets, um, not making hasty and emotional decisions during this month. And I kind of looked at, you know, this feeling of, um, it being very hard for people to hold on and maintain balance because there's like this feeling of pressure to liquidate. I had this sensation of like, oh, there's going to be a lot of people that feel like I need to kind of just get rid of things, sell, 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 and that's the wrong decision. Once again, I want to reiterate, this is for entertainment purposes only. But my feeling is, they're going to have this feeling to pressure to liquidate, and they shouldn't do that. Another thing that came up very quickly for me is that I wanted to acknowledge this feeling of this like turbulent anger and resentment within the United States that feels like it's going to kind of peak this month again. And we're going to see more protesting. And that's what those little circles are, those life forms. Feels like people are gathering in anger over the financial strain, upset at the policies within the United States. You can switch to page 4. That little tiny thing on the corner there is supposed to be a life form. And so I was drawing very fast, and I see someone up high, and it felt like it was a male presence, um, and a structure, um, and it was like a pole. I felt like a pole, tall structure, and a crowd below. And I just kept getting this flash of the word Washington, Washington. And it didn't feel necessarily like in Washington. It felt like the word Washington was associated with it. And I couldn't not write the word down. So, Washington could be associated with the name, like the street, but the word Washington is definitely associated with this individual, with this event, and those little circles are the people below. Um, Feels like, this individual is like trying to get a point across with the protesters down below, but it feels like it's all distractions, things end badly. And, I didn't want to expand too much on that. Felt like it was not a necessarily positive thing to expand on. And so I did my pen drop to kind of refocus me on better news possibly, but it's just something to bring. I thought would be good to bring to the attention because it's, something we shouldn't ignore. Once again, I kind of refocused and I picked up on a crypto that had a diamond shape on it. And it felt like, uh, not something that I wanted to say, go ahead and buy, but um, to hold and recommend. I didn't feel like I needed to recommend a particular coin uh, that should be purchased, but I just felt like recommending holding all crypto at this month and not um, purchasing actually. Um, so went on to the next page and um, I felt like strikes are here again. And I promise I am a positive person. So for me to kind of pick up on these things, it was like, what's this all about? And it felt like, more towards the middle or like I wrote third week. So more in that middle of November, we'll see another strike in the United States. And this one felt really odd as I was moving my finger down that ideogram and I was touching it. There was this weird feeling to it, and I felt this split that it would affect these two areas, and it was like education, something to do with the education system and the delivery of goods. And whenever I hit upon the word education, it was like higher up in education that would almost block uh, children from being able to go to school. Like there's going to be some kind of ruckus that's going to interfere with the ability of kids being able to get education. And I also picked up on the airlines, and so I felt like, I wrote down there something that's kind of funny. It's like the um, beware of the friendly skies might not be so friendly, and this month, and I felt like there'd be more layoffs in the airlines as well, and um, so my news is more like for I guess the general public and um, hopefully useful information for people in general, just so to help get through this month of November and say, keep the faith.
All right. That's a solid session. Um, good lead in actually to my free form session, which I have now found, which was part of why I didn't want to go first.
Oh, okay.
Um, trying to dig through the ruckus over here. All right, so my session was a bit of a within a structured template, but not particularly structured. I had my ideogram here. It felt like there was, and this one might get a little bit darker. Usually, I get some kind of nasty stuff at the start, and then I think that a lot of that is just kind of picking up on noise. But I had kind of energy and waves. This kind of loop that's pointing down is usually my symbol for death. And then this little kind of pointy guy over here is a symbol that kind of looks like Trump's hair. And that's typically been my symbol for Trump. And you can see there's a little line kind of above him. Uh, the feeling that sort of came with this is that he's blocked in some way, and then there's sort of this hand that's kind of pointing up, and this thing that looks like maybe a candle flame or um, uh, to me, it actually kind of looks like a spotlight as well. So I wrote those over in the AOL column, hands up, spotlight. It felt like maybe there was some war related news, maybe with Israel, Palestine stuff going on, uh, a reckoning or a blocked action in that regard with regards to maybe either Trump or Israel. I think it was sort of as as kind of dark as things started off, it sort of started to shift as I was getting through the page to feeling like, okay, well maybe this is more about a bad time for those guys. It sort of felt like some truth being revealed, something that's not surprising when it's revealed, but sort of overdue. I had this emotion of about friggin' time. But yeah, it felt like bad news for those folks in particular. And it's sort of as it again this hand that was raised felt more like somebody. It felt like it involved voting, like people in Congress raising their hands for a vote. So I kind of immediately went to the Epstein petition that's sort of was working its way through Congress before everything got shut down. But it felt like some kind of historic vote. And I know today on November 4th, I did this session yesterday. Today there's a big vote in California about to counter some of the Republican gerrymandering stuff that's going on in Texas and other places. So I thought maybe it could have just been bleed from that because I knew that that event was coming up. Um, but whatever this was, it felt like maybe some first steps towards whatever is next. So maybe some chaos, but moving in a direction that will ultimately improve. And so you can see I did write California vote question mark at the bottom there. Um, but I got this. I also pulled a card on this, and my tasking was global news that is going to impact markets. And I got King of Wands as my card, and that's a card that is all about entrepreneurialism and implementation of a strong plan, and generally a pretty positive card, I think. Um, I'm no expert in tarot at all, but just kind of looking that up, it felt again in reference to markets and things like that, not financial advice, that there might be some chaos here, but something positive's coming as well. And it feels like maybe this has to do with this government shutdown in the U.S. coming to an end, and the markets again are kind of down even today. Crypto's absolutely tanking today on November 4th. But I got this feeling of okay, once whatever this is, this vote or whatever moves through, that there's kind of a change and things go back up again. So that as I was listening to Elisa's session, it kind of reminded me of this stuff that I picked up. Something about a plan becoming enacted as well, which is consistent with the card. And again, this is analysis. This isn't coming from the session, but I do know there are a lot of crypto related laws and things that are kind of on the books. There's a bunch of exchange traded funds that are tied to XRP and other cryptos, which are kind of waiting to be enacted. And so with the government shut down, none of that stuff is moving through. So there's kind of like this backlog of information and approvals and so forth in the government that are just kind of sitting there doing nothing while everything's shut down. So my kind of takeaway there was that, and I might be reaching here a little bit too, but I'm getting this feeling that maybe this government shutdown in the U.S. is going to come to some form of closure this month. And it's funny, Elisa, you mentioned the third week because I was getting kind of like 20th ish, like again about a third of the way through, or 3/4 ish of the way through the month, as kind of a time when things kind of get pretty intense in that regard. So I don't know. Does that line up with American Thanksgiving? When's your guys' Thanksgiving? Is it somewhere around there?
Yeah, it is somewhere. I mean, maybe after we do all of our sessions, we can discuss them. I'd love to.
You just went on mute
I'm
there.
sorry. Yeah, I was just saying maybe after we talk, maybe when you're done with all your sessions, we can talk about it because I'd love to talk about how you're saying that date. I almost didn't say that third week, but I'm so used to like just giving a week and trying to be as precise as possible with it. Um, and for entertainment purposes only.
Of course.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, there was a strong feeling with that. And so, but I'd love to hear you finish what you have to say and then
Yeah, no, it's
that because, yeah, I have a lot to say after you're done.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for my session. I didn't have much else, but I did get this feeling of, and again, these are stories that I'm kind of following and have been for a while. Some of this stuff about Trump being contained in some way started coming up as early as like February. I was getting stuff about revolutions, and I did a show on World Astrology Report with some sessions I did back in February, January, that said kind of from August onwards there was going to be a lot of protests, a lot of revolutionary kind of things, and I've been watching those threads kind of unfold since August or so, July, August, which is when the Epstein stuff started to heat up as well. It does feel like everything's really coming to a head this month, or a lot of those threads are,
Yeah,
and they're all kind of tied around those same people and institutions and things that I mentioned in my sessions. So again, I don't know if I'm getting some noise, or maybe it's wishful thinking that things are going to, get better here in the next few weeks,
I
and
have
maybe come to a resolve. But that's
I
that's
have a
sort of what I'm
feeling.
picking up.
Yes, I have a feeling about when things will start to get better, but it's not in November. So I was told we were just giving November prediction, so I don't know if we want to start saying, what month we're starting to feel things get better. That's something we can talk about after the show, or I guess you edit it out or whatever. But
That'll
um
be in the video for subscribers only.
Oh, for
Yeah,
subscribers only, you get the prediction of when I feel that things are going to get better. Yeah, because as I was writing it down, I was like, okay, this is November only. But like for other clients and things like that, I would write that down.
yeah, the timeline always bleeds for me too. Like it's never, if I try to target a month, I'll end up getting stuff that it's like, okay, maybe it starts in that month, but then there's a bunch more stuff that comes later. And so I end up getting feedback for months and months on the same sessions because those threads continue to expand. And yeah, so it's not always, yeah, as we all know, time gets real weird with all this stuff. So it's and it can be difficult to pin something down to a very specific timeline. But I think the 20th is like a new moon or something like that. And there's this grand water trine in astrology that's happening all month too. So there's a bunch of stuff in flux with all that energy too, I suspect. But yeah, I mean that's all I had really. It was just kind of a quick session, and again this feeling of like people raising their hands and standing up against certain policies or problems, and hopefully getting some traction against. I could see this the food snap thing being a big problem, just
Oh yeah,
a trigger
that's
point for
that's gonna be
people.
it's gonna be like normally I'm a very positive person that really tries to enforce that. But it was so hard for me to dip into November and to not say that there's going to be protests, that people are not going to be angry, that these things were not going to happen. And so I just wanted to kind of to acknowledge it and to try to help people stay balanced as much as possible. That's why I was saying in my session, like try not to make hasty decisions to liquidate.
For anybody who's wondering, I don't think I've posted this anywhere yet, but the second house was planning to do a somewhat of a replication of Russell Targ's famous among remote viewers study, where they did a bunch of silver futures predictions, and they donated a chunk of it to charity, and they actually did quite well. So that was something we were going to look at doing, and sort of a research project that we were going to build, do some weekly ARV sessions to see the direction that things were going to go. But again, silver was the thing we were talking about looking at as sort of a nod to the Targ study, and yeah, we were going to share that with our subscribers as well. Yeah.
So, Josh, are we giving financial advice here?
We definitely are not giving financial advice now or ever on this channel.
If it sounds like
If
financial
you're gonna
advice,
use
it
your
is.
Monopoly money, your Starbucks dollars.
And is remote viewing 100% accurate?
No, it is not.
No.
So not only is it not financial advice, but the advice which is not advice and not financial might also be wrong
That's correct.
and is presented for entertainment purposes only.
Absolutely.
We hope it's very entertaining and correct.
It's fun when it is. That's for sure. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for presenting their awesome sessions. And yeah, let's do this again sometime soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Peace.
Do
Peace.
we need to all say that or no?
It's fine.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Cool.
Yeah.
Later, y'all.
See you guys.